Mickey and Mandy behind the scenes with some handmade home decor fit for a Disney resort. Hey howdy, hey everybody, I'm David and this is our family small shop Mickey and Mandy. We are Disney adults that create custom bags, screen printed shirts, and handmade home decor inspired by everybody's favorite magical theme parks. And this week we are back with a proper behind the small shop video giving you a special behind the scenes look at how we make a Mickey and Mandy classic. This is our magical welcome sign. This is one of the original pieces of handmade home decor that we added to the Mickey and Mandy website way back in the day. And by way back in the day, I do mean 2020. Although a simple design, this is a rustic welcome sign with a magical Disney-inspired twist to it. And in this week's video, we are going to be going behind the small shop again to sort of show off how we make this piece of home decor. And also a little bit about where it came from. So let's pull on that yellow strap and get going. So where did the magical welcome sign come from for the Mickey and Mandy website? This, again, came from around 2020 when we were starting to kind of explore a little bit with what home decor we were wanting to have on the shop. And we were playing around a lot with some theme park specific designs that were inspired by certain attractions. I have talked about them in some of my other videos, and I'll be sure to link a video at the end here. But we do have home decor inspired by all of the Disney mountains and certain attractions at Disney's Hollywood Studios and Epcot, but we wanted something a little simpler, something a little bit more subtle, something for the everyday Disney fan. And that's what we love about this sign. Doesn't matter if you've been to Disney World or Disneyland once, it doesn't matter if you've been 1,000 times, it doesn't matter if you just like the movies or the music. This is a sign for Disney lovers of all kinds. So getting into the process, typically with a piece of home decor, we start with a longer piece of wood that I then cut down to its proper size. In the case of our magical welcome sign, this is a sign that is about 12 inches long. Luckily for me though, when I was working on this particular order for a very awesome customer, this was a piece of wood that I already had cut down. This is kind of a scrap piece of wood from a former Mickey and Mandy sign, a prototype of that sign that the final product is unfortunately not on our shop anymore, but hey, we use every part of the piece of wood here. So since I already had the wood down to size, what I'm working on right now is sanding the piece of wood down. This one did have a couple of extra steps to it because usually I only use a couple different sand grades to be able to get it nice and smooth and to get all the splintery bits and to get the rough edges off. But this one I had to use an additional higher grade because I did need to get that initial coat of paint off. I actually had to get, by my count, 2 coats of blue paint and 2 coats of white paint off of this piece of wood. So I kind of had my work cut out for me. But luckily, actually came off relatively easily, which if you know me and how I like to think about how things could always go wrong when working on a bag or a shirt or a piece of home decor, if this didn't go wrong, that means there's going to be something going wrong later. But after we have the wood cut and sanded, what I like to do is rinse it off. That way we have all of the sawdust and we have all the old remnants of that raw piece of wood completely gone. And I let that sit for about 24 hours so that we can get it nice and dry. And you may remember from our Sleepy Hollow Inn sign video, like this piece of home decor that's actually right here above my head. This is a sign that we use kind of this method where we mix water with acrylic brown paint. That way we are sort of getting this washed look, but more importantly, we're getting the wood to a shade that we actually would like it to be. We wanted this to be kind of a darker piece, but also we don't really want to mess around with like different stains and polyurethanes and things like that. It's not our process. It's not how we normally do things. So we use water and brown acrylic paint, mix that up so it has that washed look, but also gives us that darker wood color that we're actually looking for. And again, it kind of gives us that rustic look that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. And after we let that sit for 24 hours, we go into the stenciling process. So we use a reusable stencil for all of our signs. We cut it out on a sort of thin piece of plastic on our Cricut cutting machine. That way we can use these stencils for multiple orders and multiple projects, and we can use them over and over again until they finally just break. But in any event, we take a temporary spray adhesive, and this is a sign that we use on the stencil, and then we adhere the stencil to the piece of wood so that way we can complete the stenciling process. And for me personally, this is what my dad taught me when we first started messing around with home decor back in 2020, is we like to go super light for our initial stenciling. The reason we go super light is that it's better to go super light with a few different coats than go heavy on one coat. Because if you go too heavy, that paint, what could happen is that it can bleed kind of through the bottom of the stenciling. And then instead of having nice crisp lines, what you have instead are these sort of blotchy edges, and it just doesn't look good. It's not good enough for us, and it's not good enough for you guys. But after we complete the stenciling, now we work on the touch-ups. You can probably tell looking at the stencil in this video that there are some breaks here and there in the stencil, in the lettering and things like that. The reason for the breaks is to not only achieve a certain level of structural integrity for the stencil, but there are some letters that, like, you know, trying to think of one off the top of my head, like an O. Can't really have a normal O, or E would probably be a better example, because it has that middle part in there where if you don't have that break, that middle part's just going to go straight through, and then it doesn't look like an E anymore. It just looks like a big blob. So the touch-ups actually create the full picture of the letter, so we don't have any breaks. It's one cohesive image. In this particular sign, though, it did require some additional touch-ups, because remember earlier, I was talking about how if you're not careful, the paint can bleed through the stencil and you end up with these blotchy edges. Well, sometimes things just happen. So what happened here is that the acrylic paint that I had for the stenciling, it is older paint. So it is a little bit more watered down than it probably should be. I need to get new paint. So it didn't matter how light I went with it, it still found a way to bleed through because it was thin enough of paint that it was able to kind of sneak its way in. So it did require some additional touch-ups, but that's part of it. And you know what? This is just how you know you are getting an authentic handmade piece of home decor from Mickey and Mandy, because yes, it is stenciled on there and there are those individual touch-ups, but I went through and had to very carefully go along the edges, making sure the lettering wasn't getting too big with the blotchy touch-ups. This is a very precise part in the process that is typically not there, but kind of had to be because I goofed. And from there, we put on the hanging hardware. For the majority of our signs, it's just a simple single D-ring hanger in the upper middle part of the sign. But for this one, again, since we are kind of going for a rustic look, what we end up doing is we drill two very small holes in the top of the sign, equidistant from each other. Then we take a small piece of twine and we sort of tie them off from the front into that sign. That way we are good to go. All you have to do is put up a command strip or a finishing nail and you just got to hang it right in your entryway, living room, mud room, wherever it is that you hang it. And here is the final product. This is what the magical welcome sign looks like when it's in its final stage. Subtle Disney-inspired home decor like this and more are available on our family small shop, mickeyandmandy.com. And we invite you, if you haven't already, be sure you do check out mickeyandmandy.com. Again, it's our family small shop. My mom makes custom bags like this America's Captain backpack. I've also shown off some of the home decor already between that magical welcome sign, but we also have some Sleepy Hollow, Pirates, Magic Kingdom inspired home decor. And me and my sister Katie, we do have a lot of fun designing subtle screen printed shirts that are perfect for your next visit to the Disney parks. And while I have you here, if you wouldn't mind liking this video and hitting that old subscribe button, it is support like this that allows us to continue showing you our behind the small shop videos and how we make some of these awesome handmade products on our website, mickeyandmandy.com. And also, I do have a bit of a subscriber goal right now. I would like to get to 200 subscribers sooner rather than later. Maybe we'll do a little bit of giveaway if we hit that. And if you want more Mickey and Mandy, make sure you follow us over on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. This is where we post our new product drops, and this is where we post all the information about our sales and our weekly ready-to-ship product drops. But more important than all of that, everybody, we do thank you so much for watching and for being here, and we will see you real soon.